Hello, people. It is, what the hell is today's date? Wednesday, July 17th. We are literally less than 1 week from Comic-Con. And this is it's kind of a special video. Not really. I thought of the idea of this because because Warner Brothers is sadly not going to Comic-Con, which is just heartbreaking because I'm so interested in what they're gonna do with DC, with the DCEU, if that's even a thing anymore. And yeah, and pretty much the whole next week is gonna be all about Marvel, pretty much, which, you know, me and Elijah are obviously looking forward to. I don't know who's not. But regardless, this is a video that I feel like Elijah's gonna have more fun with than me, because I feel like I'm not really too upset with the DC movies, but Elijah is.
Yeah, because I'm a Flash fan, a major Flash fan, and I have something to say about that.
Oh dear. We'll talk about it. First, I want to start with the DC movies that exist now. I don't know what they're a part of, because Warner Brothers has come out and openly said that, like, the DCEU isn't really a thing anymore, or that, like, the movies aren't going to connect anymore, or something like that, which I don't know about Elijah, but I'm happy about that, because I think that's the biggest problem with the DC movies, is that they are always trying to connect to each other.
I don't know. I felt like they should have released the solo movies first and then had Justice League, instead of having like them come together and then have them solo movies to explain their background.
So I'm pretty sure Elijah hasn't seen these movies in God knows how long, because mainly he doesn't give a shit, and I don't blame him. I decided to take up the task of watching all the DC movies over the past 3 days. I wanted to jump off a ledge by the end of it, except for Shazam, because Shazam is phenomenal. I will say this. Man of Steel is a movie that frustrates me, because if they had just tightened it up a little bit and took out some of the story elements, it could have been really good.
Yeah, that goes for almost every DC movie.
And especially the big one, Batman v Superman. Listen, I was watching Batman vs Superman, and I'm just sitting here like, why is there so much shit going on in this movie? Batman vs Superman is 2.5 hours. It feels like 4 hours long. I swear to God, it feels like 4 hours long. Do you know how boring it is sitting through all the stuff that happens before the final 30 minutes?
Yeah,
it's painful. It's not painful, because I'm like, it's one of those like Endgame things, only Endgame is thoroughly better and more entertaining, but it's kind of like Endgame, where it's like you're sitting there and you're like, can we get to the last fight?
No, I would rather make a connection to Civil War.
Well, no, that's not true.
For me, because you said, like, can we hurry up and get to the fight? We had the airport scene, but with the trailer, like what most people were excited about was, one, Spider-Man, and two, the final fight between Captain America and Iron Man. So I feel like it was basically very similar.
Well, I mean, people knew that Spider-Man wasn't going to be in the movie that much, and people also knew, if you read the Civil War, well, okay, I can't say that because they changed the Civil War story drastically. Never mind, I just kind of contradicted myself. But Batman vs Superman, I don't, personally, Lex Luthor for me is a fine villain. They just didn't know what to do with him. Doomsday is a joke. I'll say that now.
Definitely.
Doomsday, huh?
I said definitely.
Oh, Doomsday is a joke, and that's sad, because Doomsday is one of my favorite DC villains. And what else? Batman is great. I think Batman is great, at least. I didn't mind what Zack Snyder was doing because of the fact that I knew what he was doing, which was Injustice, which took a lot of people off because Injustice was still fairly fresh. It was like what? The Batman v Superman came out in what, 2016? And Injustice that came out in like 2013, something like that. So it was like 3 years, give or take. But I feel like Zack Snyder was trying to do like 20 different things. He was trying to do Flashpoint. He was trying to do Injustice. He was trying to do New 52. It was weird. And I feel like in the end it doesn't work. I feel like if you had just made it, I don't know, if you had just made it like, oh, Batman wants to take out the setup for Batman in the movie is great. You know, they have the whole thing like, oh, Superman was in Metropolis, and which this doesn't make any sense how Batman's tower was in Metropolis. That makes no sense. And I didn't think that at the end, like, I don't feel like the storylines kind of intersected, I guess, in a well manner, because it's like I don't know, it was weird. It's a weird movie.
The thing that I was thinking about was like, what are the odds that Bruce Wayne is in Metropolis when this is all going down?
He's just sitting on his boat. Well, I'll take a lovely stroll into Metropolis. Why not? And sees his whole building blow up. Oh dear.
I don't know. I mean, DC movies just don't get a good rep.
And then they had dude. I'm watching Batman vs Superman, and the part with the nightmare sequence, I never understood why people didn't like it. Watching it again, I'm sitting here like, what is happening right now? Not the dark side part where Superman kills Batman. I'm talking about the part where the Flash comes. That made no sense.
I still don't understand. Like, is Bruce Wayne like he can see the future, or like what's going on? Never understood that.
Zack Snyder thinks Batman is a psychic, ladies and gentlemen.
Basically. Because I just find it so strange how he had a dream about this guy, and unless it wasn't a dream at all, like maybe it actually happened.
If that happened, I think Batman is doing a little science experiment in the Batcave, if you know what I mean.
I don't know, I still don't get it to this day, to be honest.
Hey man, listen. Batman is old, you know.
I don't understand the suit.
I know. You don't understand the suit?
Yeah, like the one Barry came with the suit.
Yeah.
We didn't. When I saw it in the movie theater, I didn't really get to see it too well, because, you know, I guess they use all the lights to cover up how the suit looks, but, you know.
I think it's just because they didn't have a design yet. Which, that doesn't make any sense, but...
speaking of Flash, this movie is never gonna come out.
Oh, yeah. Never.
Literally never.
They're apparently claiming that it's gonna be out of development hell. You have an echo again. Unplug your mic.
My fault. Anyways. They said that it should be released by 2023, and honestly, by that time, I'm probably not even going to be interested.
Bro, by 2023, Marvel's Phase 4 is probably going to be over.
I don't know, man. They got to fix their stuff. But all these directors that quit, like, it has to be a reason. They must, like, have work. read the script and how everything was gonna turn out and just said, yeah, I can't do this. It's gonna mess up my breath as a director.
They were probably just like, you know what, Ezra, you wanna, make this movie so bad, you write it then.
They were probably thinking like, we don't want to go the Zack Snyder route, go from good to bad, you know.
I'm kind of upset about that. Listen, I don't think it would have been like, okay, I don't think it would have been that much better. I mean, I think Justice League would have been better in the hands of Zack Snyder, because that was a fucking mess. But I personally think that Zack Snyder would have done a considerably better job as a director for Justice League. I don't know about you.
If Zack Snyder was my dog is tweaking, but if Zack Snyder was the director, I mean, we would have seen everything that he said was his plan, like the black Superman suit and a completely different approach. The movie would have been completely different.
I know, and it's like, it's sad because, like, I'm a fan of Zack Snyder. I like Man of Steel, and I would have at least been interested to see the approach that he would have had. But, Warner Brothers, well, I mean, it's not Warner Brothers' fault. Well, it kind of is Warner Brothers' fault, because instead of delaying the movie, which I think it needed, in all honesty, they were just like, oh no, rush it out. And then we get to Suicide Squad.
Yes. Oh my God, here we go.
He's gonna rip me a new asshole because he knows how I feel about Suicide Squad.
I don't. It's how could they do that?
Listen, I understand. I understand, Elijah. Please, I understand. But you have to just let it go. You have to just watch the movie and realize that it's dumb. If you realize...
I've done that plenty of times. I watched the movie multiple times and just told myself this is dumb. Like, why am I doing this?
Oh yeah, well that's how I felt about Suicide Squad yesterday.
They have a crackhead Joker apparently that looks high on meth.
Listen, if they had given, if they had made Joker like more, I don't want to say more better because that's like the worst vocabulary possible. If you had given him a better script to work with, it could have been so much better. But it's like,
maybe a different design.
No, I like the design.
I definitely do not. No eyebrows, a grill.
There's no eyebrows? I didn't notice no eyebrows.
Yeah, shaved off. The actor shaved off his eyebrows.
Oh no shit!
He looks like the gangster version of Joker.
Yeah, I know. Everybody says that.
But I don't know. I can't even like say just like change the design because the whole story of like Joker being like a crime lord, like they made him seem like El Chapo. Basically.
Oh my God! I can't believe. Wow, Joker is El Chapo. Wow. He ditched Batman. He said, "Forget this. Batman's already on cocaine, looking at flash visions. I'm gonna go make my own cocaine."
I don't know. It's just this new Joker movie that's coming out. I don't even know how I feel about it after hearing what I heard.
No comics, yeah, I know. We'll get to it.
But then again, I mean, it's a different approach. We'll get to it.
But yeah, I I enjoy I enjoy Suicide Squad to a certain extent. I think the first 2/3 of the movie are actually pretty silly, but in the entertaining way. But like, the ending is bad. I hate the ending. It's so like it's stupid. The ending is so dumb. Literally, I'm watching. I'm like, this is so like just. It's stupid. The boss fight. The end fight.
It's a video game now.
Yep. Well, Suicide Squad feels like a video game. Well, how ridiculous it is. Because Suicide Squad. Because Harley Quinn can fight a witch, apparently, guys.
The only thing is, like, you know that something is wrong when even the actors aren't proud of it.
Well, I mean, you can't really say that because they are coming back for the reboot.
Not Deadshot. Not Will Smith, the best character of the movie, in my opinion.
I think Harley Quinn was the best. That's how I feel. But Deadshot is equally as good for me.
Yeah.
I just think that Margot Robbie, like, went all in on her performance because she reminded me of Harley from the animated series. That's the biggest praise I could give them. That it feels like the animated series.
I mean, yeah. It's just maybe the wardrobe. I don't know. Once again, everything is just different. Like, it doesn't really connect for me.
I said this time and time again, if they did the new 52 Suicide Squad, it would have been awesome. It would have been rated R, it would have been violent, it would have been amazing.
Yeah, new 52 is with the reverse flash, right?
Well, not the part that I only read a little bit of it. But,
yeah, I think, what's it called? Wally West, his father, no. What? I think his name was Daniel West, the reverse flash of the new 52.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with the black suit. He ends up on the Suicide Squad. And if they did that, that would have been lit.
That's cool. You see, have you ever seen the animated Suicide Squad movie? But like, it's called Assault on Arkham or something.
I've seen clips on YouTube, but that's pretty
dude, you
much
have got to see that movie. That movie is amazing. That's the Suicide Squad we should have had. If they had just made that movie live action, it would have been great. It was like the whole Suicide Squad is different. It's like Harley Quinn, King Shark, Killer Frost, Deadshot, somebody else. He's pretty irrelevant, but like, and then Batman just comes in and is like, just basically Batman is the villain because he's always fighting them. And I can see where they were going in this movie by trying.
That would have been lit. That would have been lit, like a different perspective, like seeing how the villains like react and how they plan things out, and sort of switch up like the fan base to like show how in their eyes Batman is a villain. That would have been
great. And especially with Ben, in all honesty, Ben Affleck portrays the animated movies universe of Batman perfectly. He's like so like on edge and stuff like that. Like he's gritty. I love that.
Not my favorite Batman, but you know.
I personally think is my favorite Batman. It's just so sad to see what they did with him in Justice League. You know, just all of that is gone. Then we get to what the hell was after Suicide Squad? Wonder Woman.
Yeah, okay. No, we're gonna have two different opinions on this. I don't know.
Yep. So you start then, cause I'm gonna rip this a new asshole.
Wonder Woman, before Aquaman and Shazam, and yeah, basically Aquaman and Shazam, pretty much the best movies. Wonder Woman sort of like pulled the DC universe sort of out of the ground after Batman vs Superman.
I agree with that.
Obviously, like. What was the villain? Ares?
God, yeah, well, one of them, yeah. It was him, yeah, Dr. Poison, and the Russian on meth.
Yeah.
Or whatever the
Like,
drug was.
I don't know. They could have casted somebody differently. Like, it was sort of hard seeing him with a mustache throughout the whole movie. That's just me. I don't know. But he... yeah, like you said, the Russian on drugs, the poison, like, that was just stupid, man. Like, they should have just got straight into the villain instead of trying to make that plot twist.
What was even the plot twist? I just watched the movie yesterday and I don't even remember it. What was the plot twist?
The plot twist was supposed to be that the guy was supposed to be Ares, and then when she killed him, like, nothing happened.
Give me a break.
So. And then it turns out the main villain was the guy that was working with her.
Yeah, no.
So, but they shouldn't have done that. That was a little bit too much. They should have just got straight into it.
Listen. Alright, I'm gonna get into it. I think 2/3 of this movie are really good. I think the beginning is slow, but it's good. The middle part is really good. From the moment they get to London until the moment they get to that stupid party. Actually, no. It gets really bad when they, when she goes confront Ares. That's when the movie for me just falls apart. At that point, the last 30 minutes for me is horrendous. I hate the last 30 minutes of the movie. It is horrendous for me. It is so bad. It's so bad. The boss fight. Oh my god. What is wrong? What is wrong with me? Listen, the final battles in these movies do feel like boss fights. They tell me they don't.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. But
you
then
know,
again, every sort of superhero movie feels like
no. You know what they feel like? Every boss fight in these movies feel like a Lego boss fight. That's what it feels like. You have like 2 or 3 characters in the same room fighting one person, and they just have to keep hitting the freaking bad guy until they die. Tell me that's not what that reminds you of every time you watch a final battle in a DC movie.
Yeah, pretty much. the summarized version of it.
And there you go, guys. You don't have to watch a DC movie. Oh my god. What was I saying? The last fight. First of all, the CGI on Ares is horrendous. It's so bad. Second of all, we're not talking about Justice League yet. We'll get to bad CGI in a second.
No, I'm not talking about Superman's mustache. I'm talking about Ares' mustache.
I don't remember an Ares mustache. I didn't pay attention. I don't remember that. I just saw the movie yesterday. I don't remember.
Yeah. But next time you watch it, it'll probably be a year from now. But you'll notice it.
What else? Let's see. The only thing that I like in the last 30 minutes is when Chris Pine sacrifices himself, or Steve Trevor sacrifices himself. That is great. But, you know, DC, you know, thinking they're geniuses. Oh, well, we're gonna bring him back to life in the sequel. Because we're geniuses. But, which, by the way, the sequel makes no sense. I don't even know what this movie is. This Wonder Woman 1984, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
No idea.
They're like, oh, it's a reboot, but it's like not. It's a sequel, but it's not.
I'll send you the picture of Ares so you can see what I'm talking about this. Like, that mustache just throws me off.
I guess Warner Brothers doesn't like mustaches.
But yeah, the next Wonder Woman movie, no clue. Absolutely no idea what it's going to be about.
He had the 70s mustache. That's or whatever time period World War II was in. I don't fucking know. But yeah, this movie is like, I don't know. I have no clue what it is. It takes place in the 80s and somehow Steve Trevor comes back. I don't know. Unless he pulled the Captain America and he put the plane in the ice, I don't know.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine that. That's the biggest plot twist in DC history. That'd be some
honestly,
shit.
I really don't know, and I don't even know who would be the villain. They're saying Cheetah, but how would that 1980s what would that connection be?
I have no idea.
Like in Wonder Woman, it was Ares because the World War was going on, but and he's the god of war. But like, what is Cheetah gonna do? That's a connection with the 80s.
I guarantee you it's just gonna be like Captain Marvel, where it's just like a whole time period and they're just playing nothing but 80s music the whole time.
Yeah, well, movies and shows like to do that nowadays.
I hate that shit. You know how annoying that is when they do that crap. Oh, we're in the 80s. Let's just play nothing but 80s music for 30 minutes or an hour. Because we don't care. We don't know what to do. Because people like the 80s. Alright, enough about Wonder Woman. I hate this movie. Well, okay, I don't hate this movie. I hate the last 30 minutes makes me want to hate the movie, but,
it wasn't that bad in my opinion.
No, well, the end of the whole movie.
The whole movie in general wasn't
The whole
that
movie
bad.
isn't that bad. It's actually really good, but the end is just horrendous. Okay. You ready to rip this a new asshole? Justice League, ladies and gentlemen.
Worst movie I've ever seen.
You sure about that?
Yes.
Are you confident on that?
I'm capping.
I mean, I won't blame you if you say that.
It's one of the worst movies, I'll give it that.
It's one of the worst. I would rather watch Daredevil, the movie, than watch Justice League. At least that's funny.
Yeah.
I actually don't think Daredevil's too bad. It's just silly.
Yeah, that's... Oh, man, Ben got some good superhero roles.
No, he's fine in the movie. He's just silly. The movie's just silly.
Yeah. Anyways, back to DC. Yeah, Justice League is really bad. I don't even know what to say.
Guys, when I tell you
they
that
made Batman like
a bitch.
Yeah, basically, like what the hell, he's getting beat up, like he's not playing no major purpose besides blasting music through the village. Like,
you know what I think they tried doing? I think they tried making him like Iron Man a little bit.
Yeah, but even then, Iron Man has the main role that like saves everybody.
Well, yeah, and also Robert Downey Jr. is a much considerable better actor than Ben Affleck, so can't really compare the two. But I mean, character-wise, I can see what they're trying to do. But granted, my theory makes sense because Joss Whedon directed The Avengers, which, by the way, should never direct another movie ever again after what he did to Justice League. Because there's no way on earth that Zack Snyder did all of that. There's no way. I don't think Zack Snyder's that dumb to make that much of a failure of a movie. That was bad.
I'm not even gonna say it.
You can say it, and what?
Zack Snyder isn't all that, in my opinion.
He's not all that, but he's better than Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon may have directed the first Avengers, but granted, okay, this doesn't really mean much considering where the DCEU went before Aquaman and Shazam, but Zack Snyder did kind of get the DCEU going. Again, that doesn't really mean much considering where it ended up before Aquaman and Shazam, but
Zack Snyder doesn't, like, in my opinion, the whole Watchmen movie, it was boring.
Watchmen is 3 hours long. That's why it's boring.
Yeah, I fell asleep through half of it.
But I understand why it's 3 hours long. It's because he probably wanted to do the whole story, and he didn't know if he'd get a sequel or not. The characters in that movie are great, though. You can't lie about that. Jeffrey D. Morgan is freaking absolutely fantastic in that movie.
Rorschach is...
Yeah, Rorschach. But oh my god, I can't remember his character's name for the life of me. Jeffrey D. Morgan in that movie. He's freaking great in that movie. I forgot his name.
What the character's name?
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan?
No. Hold on. I'll tell you right
honestly, I found Watchmen pretty boring. The only thing that I liked was the Rorschach scenes because it was just brutal and...
You saw the new Watchmen that they're doing? It's like a TV show. And there's
honestly, I don't get the point of it. It didn't show no characters. It just showed people dressed with the Rorschach masks, and that was it. Like, it wasn't even a real trailer, really, like, in my opinion.
He played the comedian. Jeffrey Dean Morgan did. He was really good at that. Okay. I want to keep talking about Justice League. Honestly, I think, am I on agreement with you that Steppenwolf is the worst villain in the comic book movie in history?
Steppenwolf, what, you mean comic book or like in the movie?
In the movies, I mean.
I would have to give that one to Doomsday.
Well, no, because at least Doomsday was comic accurate. And was more of a threat too. Because there was evolution and he was created from General Zod and he killed Superman. Steppenwolf was just a big CGI dummy that did nothing and got his ass kicked by Superman in 5 seconds.
I don't know, man. I would... There's a lot of bad villains out there, man. Lex Luthor?
They still did, well... Okay,
That was before he was bald. And he was sucking on people's candies.
I think Zack Snyder's ruined Jolly Ranchers probably for life.
Oh, that was a bad shot.
It's Jerry.
But what's up next? Well, unless you want to speak more about
also, Batman. We said Batman was terrible. The Flash was horrendous.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, terrible. Like how could you be like mind you, he already has a suit made, so you would think he would know how to run.
Personally, I think the reason they made him like, it's still stupid, but personally I think the way they did him like that is because of the fact that he doesn't know who Harrison Wells is, and he never encountered the Reverse Flash yet. But then again, I pray on every god that's holy that they never ever do E-Born Thawne or the Reverse Flash in the DCEU. I think that'd be a sin to everybody.
I will disagree with that.
Unless they do it right. But with the way it's going right now, that I don't see that happening.
Yeah, well, we don't even have to worry about that. We're not going to get a Flash movie anyways.
Imagine we get the movie like 20 years from now. Everybody's just like, where did this movie come from?
He's gonna be an old man by then. He's not even gonna be able to fit in the suit.
He's gonna be Jay Garrick from the CW show.
Oh my god.
Tell me I'm not wrong saying that, bro.
Ezra Miller casted as Jay Garrick after 20 years.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant the way Jay Garrick looks in the CW in the suit. He's like all fat.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Like, why couldn't we get the Zoom earbud? I mean earbud. Why can't we get the Zoom Jay Garrick suit? Like, that was the most accurate.
I don't know. I don't know. Moving on. Oh, and Cyborg was fine for what he was given. I wish that they would have done more.
CGI was a tiny bit weird. Like
Listen, it was better than it was in the trailers. It was horrible in the trailers. They did do a better job, though.
I just feel like he, like his arms and his legs were dumb skinny, but like his main torso was big. Like, how did they get that at all? It just looks weird when I watch the movie.
It was weird.
But the actor wasn't bad. I'm not gonna say he was a bad actor. It was just what he was given.
Aquaman was given jack shit in that movie, and he was just coming off as a big idiot. And Wonder Woman was useless unless they were fighting Steppenwolf, because she's the only one that could actually do something against Steppenwolf unless Superman was there, which they did Superman really good. I'll say that. I don't know about you, but I liked Superman in Justice League.
Not the lip.
Well,
and not without the black suit.
Yeah, I know. There's only so much we can ask for at this point with Justice League. All we can hope for is that they actually release a Zack Snyder version, and it's actually good.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully, though. Like, I would love to see that.
If enough people ask for it, I feel like they'll do it. Like, if the president asks for it, I'm pretty sure we'll get it. But then again, Donald Trump is the dumbest person in the universe.
I doubt Donald Trump would want Zack Snyder.
Okay, not Donald Trump. I mean a hypothetical president. Like if Obama was still the president. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Moving on. Justice League is gonna make me have a stroke. Moving on. God, what the hell was that? The Aquaman? Is that the next one?
Okay.
I believe so.
How do you feel about Aquaman? I never asked you this.
A great movie, great visuals, made me feel like I was tripping on acid.
Okay, I really like it too. I think the last 20 minutes is hilarious. It's stupid, it's silly, but it's like, it's everything you could want from a superhero movie. It's just entertaining in all the right ways. And you're not laughing because it's bad, you're laughing because of how silly it is. Like, for God's sakes, Aquaman comes in riding on an octopus in a orange and green outfit.
It was I'm not gonna lie, when he got that suit, and he came to the surface, I think.
That was the best part.
It gave me goosebumps. I was so sad. And then, Echo came back, you said?
Yeah.
God damn, I don't know why he keeps on doing that. But yeah, that scene where he got the suit.
Oh yeah, the last 10 minutes is fantastic. I love it. That last fight on the submarine with him and Oceanmaster is fucking great. I love it. The only thing.
Oh, Black Manta! I forgot he was even in the movie.
Dude, Black Manta is a beast in that movie. Black Manta is one of my favorite DC villains.
Bro, the suit was amazing. It was like straight out of the comics, to be honest.
It really was. They did Black Manta so much justice, and I hope that well, I don't hope they are doing a sequel, but I hope that he has, like, time to shine, because the actor was great, too. Let's see, what else? I just feel like, to me, the movie's a little bit too long. It feels really long. Like, honestly, it's really hard to watch it over and over again. I've watched it 3 times, and every time it feels longer and longer. That's what she said.
I mean, I don't know, man. DC, like, it's a hard topic to talk about. Like, if we were talking about Marvel, I could go on and on, but, like, the most I could say is that, like, after, I can't even say that. I was gonna say after Wonder Woman it started to go up, but then Justice League came out.
Well, I mean, granted, okay, we'll say this. Every DC movie that's not directed by Zack Snyder is great, which is kind of funny.
You said every DC movie not directed?
Yeah.
Not directed by Zack Snyder.
Yes.
So Justice League
is not great.
Oh yeah. Okay. I got the words confused.
See,
My
now Justice League is
sir.
having a stroke, making you have a stroke.
Agreed. 100%.
But yeah, that's kind of funny how every DC movie that wasn't directed by Zack Snyder is genuinely liked by pretty much everybody. But yeah, Aquaman just feels really, really long, and it's like if they had just, I don't know what they would cut out because I feel like the story is really, really, really good. So it's hard. Moving on. Now, this next one's gonna be hard because he hasn't seen it yet, which breaks my heart because I know he's gonna like it. Shazam is freaking fantastic. If you,
I gotta see it,
dude, it was. I mean, it should be in HD online now because it came out yesterday on Blu-ray. So, but
do you think The Rock is gonna get casted as Black Adam?
he is casted as Black Adam. They just don't know what to do with him.
They confirmed it?
Yeah, he's getting his own solo movie. You didn't hear about that?
Oh my god.
What did you thought it was Black Manta, didn't you?
No, I just completely forgot about it because I found it so stupid.
Oh yeah, I still think it's stupid, but regardless, I don't know why they're doing that.
I don't understand. I really don't like when villains get their solo movies because
Unless it's Joker, because Joker, I feel like you could do so many different things with Joker.
well, not in this new one coming out. Apparently,
they're doing something different. That's what I'm saying. You can do so many things. It's not like Flash where it's like, oh, they're 95% chance they're gonna tell the story. Oh, E-Born Thawne, Reverse Flash, you know, that storyline, you know? With Batman, they're always eventually gonna get to the story of the Joker. Regardless,
Season 6 of The Flash, ain't that gonna be something?
good lord.
I've been thinking about it a lot. You know, they said Godspeed is gonna be in it, possibly
Oh,
Red Death, main villain.
whoopee! I don't care.
I do.
Why? Because he wasn't
there's
already
a rumor.
royally fucked up?
There's a rumor that the Godspeed character got recast, and the whole story with Godspeed is different since Nora changed the timeline basically. So I think they could literally fix him.
I hope.
But I don't think he's gonna be a main villain. I think Red Death is gonna be the main villain, and Godspeed is gonna be working for him. And then possibly maybe at the end of the season, a friendship between Godspeed and Barry, like New 52.
Well, I mean, technically they should have done that before. You know, Godspeed happens. Or maybe they do that now. Maybe they do Godspeed.
I just don't know. Because Red Death is confirmed. Like, it's in the Flash Museum, this and that. But how would that work? Like, without introducing Batman?
I also want to know if they're gonna do, if Nora's gonna come back in some capacity.
I don't think so.
I mean, I don't want her to come back, but
Me neither.
you know.
That's it. Like, the thing about the Flash, like the TV show, is that you can't really mourn the death of somebody because they always come back in a future season.
Yep.
Like for example, Eddie, when I forgot what episode it was, but Barry was like in something like a dream. Eddie was there. I mean, like, come on, just let characters die.
Well, I mean, that was a one-time thing, but if you really want to talk about that, they did it with Ralph. They did it with They've been doing it with her. No, not just HR. They've been doing it with Wells every season. Talk about not letting characters die.
Oh, yeah.
But granted, every time they bring him back, it's a different version, so I can't really bash on it too much.
And I mean, he pulls it off good, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I know.
Different characters. Man, that guy needs an Oscar, bro. He plays like 12 different characters.
I love it when they bring in the Quarter Wells. That's so funny every time.
Yeah. Oh my god, I wonder what Wells we're gonna get next. Hopefully we just go back to Earth 2 Wells, because that's my favorite Wells.
Dude, I love Earth 2 Wells so much. Earth 2 Wells is a beast.
Then again, we shall never know. Flash is honestly probably one of the most unpredictable.
Okay, I'm sorry guys. Batman decided to run into a blue screen on PlayStation and, you know, decided to cut off the stream. We were just talking about the Flash, I think. We were talking about Harrison Wells.
Oh yeah.
Basically,
yeah,
we just want to touch on the DCEU moving forward. There are three confirmed movies right now. It's Joker, which I don't think is a part of the DCEU anyway. Then it's The Suicide Squad, which I'm looking forward to. I don't know about you. And Batman, which I'm also looking forward to because they're introducing new villains. Well, not new villains, but they're introducing new versions of villains. And I feel like it could be pretty cool.
I can't believe Twilight God is the new Batman.
Yeah, right?
Honestly, blows my mind, not gonna lie.
I don't know. I gotta see it. It's one of those Ben Affleck situations. We gotta see it to believe it.
Yeah. Honestly, when they casted Ben Affleck, I sort of, I was sketchy about it, but he wasn't that bad.
He's great.
Cliffy Bell for the win.
Let's see what else.
I just sent you a picture of the Flash suit.
Okay, let me see.
There's a picture of the front, but I can't find it for some reason.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Oh wait, it's right here. Sure.
I'm gonna leave you guys off with this. I used that stupid tier maker website that everybody was using to make a quick, you know, ranking thingy-mabob of the DCU from my point. So in the great column is Shazam. In the good column is Suicide Squad, Man of Steel, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. In the okay column is Batman v Superman, and in the bad column is Justice League for all the right reasons.
Agreed. Except for Aquaman. Aquaman should be up with Shazam. That's just me though.
Yeah. Well, you haven't seen Shazam, man, so you can't really say that.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you're right.
Alright. That's gonna do it. I really wish the stupid stream didn't cut off. But, whatever. I gotta work the magic now. Until next time, me and Kevin are probably gonna be on this for Hobbs and Shaw, which is not this week, but next week. I'm looking forward to that. Until then, have a safe weekend. Stay chill, please, because we're on like Mars right now. If you're in New York. If not, then if you're in the cold area, then go fuck yourself, because I wish I was you right now. Alright, later people. Have a safe